the VCA Voice podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Marie Kerl. Our goal with the VCA Voice is to showcase how VCA Animal Hospitals is taking care of the future of veterinary medicine. We'll bring our purpose to life through meaningful conversations about care, our culture, and the communities we serve. On today's episode, I'm happy to welcome Ibrahim Al-Murjan, who is the Vice President of Digital Product Development. And you know him more commonly as Abe. Abe, welcome. Great to have you here today.
Thank you. Absolutely love this opportunity being here.
Well, I am excited to have you here. And most everyone that I've had on this podcast has been either a veterinarian or veterinary technician, and you have had a very different experience. Tell me a little bit about both your life journey and your professional journey, bringing you up to the VCA point.
You know, man, where to start? I grew up in Kuwait. It's where I'm from. It's where my family's from. I had a background in politics with my father. Ibrahim Abe Al-Murjan is the Kuwaiti ambassador, and we had a life where I was exposed very early on in my career to a number of different cultures and was very fortunate for that. It gave me a new world perspective. So in Kuwait and Senegal after that, and then Morocco, where I spent the majority of my time growing up, and then right after that came here for university in Denver, Colorado. After graduating, it was that time period. I think you remember it. It was like, I think 2007, 2008, something was going on in the world.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was like a recession or something. But as an immigrant, even with a strong education, no one was opening the door. I still remember the 167 rejection letters that I got.
Wow.
Yep.
You have perseverance.
I was determined. I applied for everything, but it was a dark time. People were losing their homes, their livelihoods, and I can understand it. Companies were cutting back. It was an unknown time. All of us had to go through that. But fortunately for me, I had a relationship with the Antons. And, Art Anton sits me down and he goes, "Hey, I hear that you're struggling right now." And I said, No, I'm not struggling. I'm an entrepreneur. That was my job, I was like, I'm ready. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to make it. And he goes, "Okay, come back to me when you want to have a conversation." And he and Bob cracked the door open. They said, "We are looking for someone to come in, help us with a training program, and that's all that we're going to set you up for." And I was fortunate enough to join at around that time in 2009. And that's when I fell in love with this world.
So what was that first training program?
So Art had said, look, we need to be able to empower our hospital managers to take a look at how we're running our practices. Where are some things that we can work with them on? And it was myself and a few other associates that I was fortunate to be in that class with. And it was learning how to reimagine running a practice during a time when financial hardships were there. And at the time when everyone was either not coming in and saving every dollar to trying to engage, our program in its simplicity is just how do you run efficiently while still taking care of the associate's experience as well as the client experience and making sure we take care of the pets that come in through our door.
Well, I know you mentioned it was during the recession, but those principles really are pertinent every single day.
100% right. Like that's where I fell in love with it. I was like, if during the times when things are tough and they're hard on all of us, this is our guiding principle. Can you imagine when things get better, how things are going to be? And we've seen that over 15 years. It's been quite a journey.
Well, we're very lucky to have you. Did you study in a technology field at university? And what was the leap between that initial introduction to VCA and where you are now?
I get that question a lot of whether or not this is what my education was. And I was fortunate enough, again, to be able to go to university and get my bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. But the whole purpose of that was just like a thirst of knowledge. It was just a matter of, I want to learn anything and everything. Things that I don't know that interest me, I want to jump into. When I joined this world, it was new on so many levels. It wasn't the traditional corporate structure or anything like that. It was not a 9 to 5. It was a roll up your sleeve and figure out today. And doing it alongside people, starting with operations, then running a boarding facility, then being part of our emergency hospital and GP hospital, Alameda East in Denver, Colorado. But the underlying notion here is I didn't do this on my own. No way. Like I had such incredible people from senior leadership to a colleague who's a kennel tech that is showing me how to properly disinfect the cage. And during snowstorms where we bunked up for 72 hours straight because no one could make it to the hospital. But that's the caliber of the people that we have here. And everyone was willing to help. That was really it for me. It was jumping in and doing that. And technology, again, going from the sense of entrepreneurship, it was that I want to create something that doesn't exist that makes people's lives better. My grandfather taught me that. He's like, do good and be good. It's as simple as that. And what better way than to develop and to build experiences and digital product that give back to those who give everything.
Oh, that's a wonderful perspective. So what was the first technology product that you were involved with VCA, and how has that role evolved over time?
Well, for me, the first engagement in terms of technology actually was with the IT training group and Wolfware. And it was one of those where that was the opportunity to try to get into the traditional IT mindset of going in, learning a platform and building it. And Wolfware, which is our practice management system, it's been the foundation of a lot of what has enabled us to be top of class in terms of our digital experiences today. That omni-channel, fast forward 14 years later, wouldn't have happened if we hadn't built this platform called Wolfware that gives us a serious competitive advantage of delivering an omni-channel experience. I joined the training team just as Wolfware was in its beta, first hospital rolling out, being reintroduced once again to some of the most dedicated associates I've ever seen. They were managers, they were trainers, they were kennel techs, they were certified technicians. Like it was just this world that, given a testament to our leadership, building that core group and saying, great, now go into our hospitals and start to integrate this software. And as we did, we just made it better and better. And I'm proud to be leading that software group today and that digital product group today. So the evolution went from beta running this to now it's under my umbrella. And again, wouldn't be here without all the amazing collaborations that we've been able to do over the years with both the Wolfware team and the digital product team. And we wouldn't be able to do what we do in technology without medical operations support. Because at the end of the day, it's about that.
I'm going to ask you to define a couple of things. You've used the term omni-channel and then also digital product. Can you tell me what those two terms mean in your world and mean to us?
So digital product, the way that I see it is that it's not something that has an end date. It is an ownership model. It is an experience model. And it's constantly evolving. Technology is constantly evolving, but experiences are constantly evolving. So we have incredibly talented digital product owners. And I think that's the best way that you can get output in terms of technology and as a whole is you have a vested product owner in terms of always asking why and how and what else can I do in order for us to make the experiences better for associates and clients alike. And that brings us into the whole omni-channel. We launched SMS before it was popular. I remember when we launched in 2014 or 15, two-way SMS. And I was like, oh my God, we had 5,000 text messages sent and received this month across our whole organization. This is incredible.
I think I send that many a day.
And we were celebrating that. Yeah. Well, you're not wrong. We're at 2.5 million now.
Wow.
And so, with 65% of all of our associates engaging with it. When it started, it was, hey, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to be beneficial. Now this thing better not go down for 10 minutes because it's such an integral part of how I communicate with my clients and it's not just technology, it's providing comfort. So as a digital product owner for two-way SMS that we did back then, it was, how are we going to deliver that efficient communication? We know that 90+% of all text messages are read within the first 3 minutes. And when you're looking for an update about your pet or how things are going or looking for that reassuring photo, guess what? You're going to be more engaged. So you hear all these little components of it, but now imagine if we broke that experience. So going back to the omni-channel, right? Because we have Wolfware and we have this ecosystem, we're able to make it where the barriers to entry to some of these experiences are almost non-existent. We don't have to have a client register to be able to get, an app that gets them to ASMS, for instance, and then a doctor that has to go create a different profile somewhere else outside of the platform, and then they have engagements. We don't have to have them go looking for their communication logs. So the omni-channel experience is great. A client who's already here, we already get their consent to send them communications like this. The doctor technician has access through a click of a button. Take a photo. You have it on the associate app. It's all integrated. It goes to the client. Client sends things back. So you start seeing that 360 kind of engagement. It's not a disconnected experience, but that could be something as technical as two-way SMS or text messaging, or when you look at something as powerful as the MyVCA experience. And that's really when we look at MyVCA being the next thing that's already here. From the app experience to the web experience, because it's tied into our ecosystem and on our infrastructure, we deliver experiences that even during the pandemic allowed us to react very quickly and make it so that it is part of the journey and the experiences of our clients and our associates in the hospital. So from booking an appointment to 24/7 live chat with real people, right? These are VCA associates. And so from that kind of live chat integration goes right to the practicing doctor. The doctor that saw them last gets a notification that their client had engaged with them. I mean, how powerful is that? And they don't have to do anything. It just does it.
So this is all available through the MyVCA app, which who can get the MyVCA app?
So anyone who's walked through our doors at any point in time in the last 12 months, so if you're an active client or you have an active account at VCA, you get free access to the MyVCA. There is no payments that you have to do. Like, it is just something that we as an organization have decided that this is what we want to give to all of our clients. On MyVCA, you get access to 24/7, 365 a year live chat. The team behind that is absolutely powerful and wonderful because we have a 4.9 out of 5-star satisfaction rating. You get to book your next appointment right from the app, and as well as the web experience for MyVCA. So it's, again, that ecosystem we talk about. We have what could be in-hospital experiences that we also make available to web experiences as well. So you have online booking, the ability to see what your services are coming up to. And you, as a client, by the way, you don't enter any of this stuff. We feed it to you.
Wow.
So you want to talk about omni-channel? We don't have a request for our clients to give us that information because you're in our care. We already have it. So we get to serve it to you, and you get to see it and engage with us in that sense. And to me, that's where the power of our ecosystem really sets us apart.
Can the clients also get medical record information through the app?
Yes, they can. And I love how you kind of moved away from the fact that you were a huge champion of that. Like, that was, that for us was incredible to collaborate with you and the regional medical directors on, because what we want to do with technology is be responsible as well, right? These are real interactions. We're not chasing the thing that's popular. We're going after the experience that makes sense for our associates and our doctors and technicians and our CSRs and our clients and their pets. And so because we are so passionate about how to deliver that experience, our digital product suite has to fit into that story, because then you have disconnected experiences, and that doesn't make any sense. So when we look at medical records, we send you your lab results that are on the app as soon as they're reviewed and shared by the doctor. We have your medical overview. So your active concerns, your inactive concerns, your historical overview sheet is available to you in real time. Again, also with the doctor's sign off and availability, you have the ability to sign your treatment plans. So if you're at home or in our hospital and a technician shares the treatment plan for you, you can digitally sign it right there. It uploads right into the record. So it makes life easy both on the associate and the hospital. You also have the option to quickly pay in app. If you have Google Pay or Apple Pay, it's integrated. It takes less than 15 seconds to get your payment done, and that's it. You're done.
So the My VCA app is what clients use. Is that also what our hospital associates use for their work, or is it different?
It's different. We have almost, if you want to think of it, it's almost like two different experiences. There's the associate facing application, which we call Retriever Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have the client experience, and that's My VCA. And so with our associates, what we're doing and have done, Retriever Plus was on our hospital iPads. We have 6,000 of them all across the country. We wanted to give our associates something that they can hold, walk up to the client, check them in, and be able to actually interact with them while still doing what they need to. So being able to take a picture. I know you've
Yep,
seen that
absolutely.
experience with the squeaky toy, which everybody absolutely
Wait, there's
loves.
a squeaky toy in the app?
There's a squeaky toy in the associate app. So when you take a picture, we have 3 sounds that it makes. But it's those kind of components, right? Like I can only imagine that anytime coming into a hospital, you're going to come in, if it's your first time or your 5th time, there's always some anxiety to it, right? But to sit with an associate that is with you along the way is the experience that we're delivering. And that's where technology, again, can blend those together.
So now the Retriever Plus app, as the customer service representative is checking a client in, they use that. How does it help the doctors and technicians?
When we launched in 2014, 15, 16, and onwards, we had a suite of mobile apps. We had our two-way SMS messenger. We had My Schedule, which gave doctors the ability to see their schedule, to be able to see the medical record, to be able to annotate dental records and body records, be able to write communication logs. And then you have Retriever, which allowed our CSRs, our technicians, to check in, check out. Last year, we elected to bring all of the mobile apps into one experience for the associate facing it. And so now it's Retriever Plus. And so we took the experiences of the multiple different applications and now put it into one. So the technician still gets the benefit of being able to review the medical record, enter a history through VCA Scribe. A doctor can look at their schedules, utilize VCA Scribe, create a communication log, and all of this ties back into Wolfware. And so you have that integration that separates you from having to constantly either turn your back and go and write something on a computer while you're trying to talk to a client. So we've elevated some of those experiences while optimizing them in terms of workflow.
Tell me a little bit about how artificial intelligence can help to benefit our clients and our patients and our associates in the future.
For our listeners, VCA Scribe gives our doctors, technicians the ability to simply record their findings, their summaries of an exam. A team listens, annotates, sends it back to the doctor. Doctor has full control over everything. Nothing happens without the doctor's say so.
And I think it's important to point out that team is composed of credentialed veterinary technicians and veterinary assistants who have a lot of experience with patient care and in veterinary medicine. So they have a huge understanding, and they're our associates.
Yeah,
so
they're our associates. So it's like you talk about a number exceeding over 120 of these associates that are VCA associates. Everyone talks about AI as just put it in front of something and it magically happens. Well, I wish it was that simple. Because that's where I tell people, fortunately enough, we're not in the business of doing things just fast for the sake of doing it. We're here to do it responsibly. And so going into phase 1 of AI integrations, it was, how do we make our scribes efficient? Instead of listening to a 2-minute summary, a 3-minute summary, we wanted to provide them with an overview that broke the text into a non-generative state. So I'll explain those two really quickly. Generative state is the module itself will fill in the gaps and start making some recommendations. Non-generative AI is where it's like, if I don't hear anything about lab work, I'm not going to make a leap and pretend I know something about a lab work order. So it will actually say lab work was not mentioned during this commentary. So that's how we're building confidence with how we integrate AI, because we have a responsibility to our doctors. We have a responsibility to our clients, to top of the line medical quality and medical record keeping. And a lot of what I'm seeing in the world right now is people are just putting these powerful models. It spits out everything under the sun. And you're like, wow, this looks incredibly thought out. And then you start reading it. And you're like, wait a minute. We took AI and we said, we're going to have this be our model. So it is not shared with the public. We are the only ones who have access to this data. That was step number one.
Yeah.
So AI allows us to make our scribes more efficient by providing them with the medical overview, any findings, any conversations on vaccines or lab recommendations, and just annotates that into what they would have started writing the medical record with anyway. So instead of starting from scratch, they have a 40, 50% completed component. And then they get to go in and say, great, I'm going to now edit, I'm going to correct. We're not putting that burden on the technician and on the doctor. We want them to focus on who's in front of them. The VCA Scribe team is training the model as it gets submitted. We have a 90% accuracy rate today. We're trying to get up to, as close to 100 as possible. And as soon as we get there, the power of non-generative AI is going to be, we flip the switch and we give it to the associate. So you have the premium version of VCA Scribe, which is the scribe team writes everything in for you and sends it back to you and you get to review it. And then we have the dictation powered by AI. You can make your own edits, click a few buttons. It will automatically save it into the medical record. But this is where AI really becomes powerful. The goal for VCA Scribe is to give time back.
Yeah. It's so difficult in practice to be able to pay sufficient attention to clients and patients and also to make sure that you're accurately recording everything. So this is just an absolutely wonderful direction for the future.
Yeah, and it's a responsible future.
Right.
We are backed by a leadership that is not only patient, but understands that what we're trying to do is not to just get there first. That's not who we are. We want to get there right. And when we talk about taking care of the future of veterinary medicine, we have a responsibility to this space to ensure that what's out there is not just the next buzzword. It's human-led, it's human-generated, and the final say is from that. That's what I'm excited about with AI is we're building this with our associates and we're building this with experiences that deliver what we believe in, and that is taking care of the future of veterinary medicine.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to speak with you today, and I so much appreciate your time. We are very, very lucky that you joined VCA when you did, and you've grown so much with us. So, Abe, thanks so much for joining.
Pleasure is mine.
Thank you so much for listening in. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to leave a review to let us know your thoughts, and share the episode with friends. Follow VCA Animal Hospitals on social media at LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For more inspiring stories, visit our website at vcavoice.com.